I'm doing quite well, Mike. How are you?
Very good, and the Memorial Day weekend usually is a great time for baseball, and it's been a great couple of weeks here. The Phillies, 7 out of the last 9. It's been a nice little road trip for them here, and what are you noticing? What are you seeing in the turnaround here?
Well, honestly, just exactly what you would expect. A little bit of every aspect of the game, just getting a notch better. The starting pitching has been good. I think the ERA for the starters over this stretch is somewhere in the mid-2s, and they're getting base hits when they need them. They're getting base hits with guys on. They're getting extra base hits, and they're scoring runs. They're scoring runs not one at a time, but they're scoring them 2, 3, 4 times in an inning. And when you put all that kind of stuff together, you're going to win a lot more baseball games than you lose. And over this 8-game period, 9-game period, that's what we've seen. And they took advantage of a Diamondbacks team that was down at the time. They started to play better since they left Philadelphia. And certainly the Rockies have struggled as well. But that said, the guys are doing what they need to do, and the results are showing.
Yeah, Murph, and obviously a couple of guys who have been a part of it, a couple of old guys and a younger guy who we'll get into, but Ryan Howard, he's been on a tear, and it looks like a guy who, people were hoping that maybe, the injuries are behind him. He had the problem with the family last year, and people thought maybe he'd be more focused, but he looks like a guy who's turned the corner a little bit and maybe a big-time contributor.
He has been a big-time contributor. I think the number we said on the broadcast last night was since April 21st, so, a month since he was, batting around 125 or whatever. His batting average is over 300. His power numbers have been terrific. He's right amongst the lead leaguers now in league in home runs, and he's up there in RBIs as well. He's doing exactly what you need Ryan Howard to do in the middle of that lineup. And, I think the most exciting part of it is that, he's getting these multi-hit games, and it's becoming a regular thing where he's getting, a single and a double in a game or a double and a home run. And we're seeing him contribute virtually every time he steps to the plate. The strikeouts are down. His outs are productive. And all of that is good news if you're a Phillies fan, if you're a Ryan Howard fan, and it's certainly good news for Ryan Howard in the middle of the lineup.
And then there's Utley, who obviously still under 200, but has certainly turned it around recently. Is that something that is noticeable? A lot of people talked about bad luck from him. It seems like it's maybe turning around. He's been hitting the ball, and he's been hitting the ball for extra base hits, and I think that's been a big difference.
I think so, too. I think there was a little bit to the bad luck side of things, but, when you're batting – 099, which he did about 2 weeks ago. He hit that 099. There's a little bit of bad luck in there, but there's also some bad swings and things that you needed to clean up, and he has done that. It's been the Chase Utley of old in the past 2 weeks. His swing is short and compact and through the zone, and as you said, he's finding the gaps. He's hitting. Not for power in terms of home runs, but he's got some gap power, which is a good sign to see from him. So, and again, he's a guy that's been having multi-hit games as well. They dropped him down into that 6th spot, and, maybe that was able to, he was starting to turn the corner before he moved down to 6, but I think moving down to 6 and just that change of scenery and just maybe just a change in general, which is the way Ryan Sandberg put it, was good for him. And now he's back, or he was back in the 3-hole and then the 2-hole, so we'll see where he is tonight. But definitely, he looks like a guy that has turned the corner at this point.
Gregg Murphy's with us, part of the Phillies broadcast team, and they will take on the Washington Nationals. By the way, Utley 2 for 4 with the runs scored on Thursday. Had a triple and a single, 9 for 20, 450, 5 extra base hits over his last 6 games. He's up to 169, and we talked about even if he got on a hot streak, that average was still going to look pretty down. And at 169, he still has a little ways to go to get to 200. We'll see if he can get there. And then, you've obviously got the young guy, Franco, and, 2 weeks now or about a week or so that he's been up. And what are you seeing from Franco? To me, you look at a guy who looks more confident. Last year he struggled. Spring training, he struggled a little bit. So what's the difference between what you see now and the guy that you saw before?
I think you nailed it. I think first and foremost, this is a guy who feels like he belongs now. He's had 2 spring trainings with these guys, and then he had his call-up last September where he got his feet wet a little bit. And I think all 3 of those times you saw a guy who was still trying to figure out if he belonged. And when he got sent down at the end of spring training, he was very disappointed. And they went to him and they said, look, this is not about talent. This is about you getting that swing to where you needed to be so that when we do bring you up to the bigs, you're ready to go. And I think he went down there with the right frame of mind and tore up the Lehigh Valley, and did everything he needed to do. And then when that date rolled around that he was, from a business standpoint, was able to be called up, he was in a really good place. And you're seeing a guy that's confident at the plate, a guy that seems to have a real feel for what he wants to do when he's up there. And, it's paying off for him. And like anything else in life, as he has success, he's going to gain more confidence and he's going to be able to build on that. So it was imperative that he got off to this kind of start, and he has done that, so that's great to see.
It is, good to see a young guy up there and getting him contributing and, having him in there. It's amazing how one guy, Murph, can really kind of change the way a lineup looks all of a sudden, because before he was there, you're kind of like, now you have a right-handed guy who can scare you a little bit. Yeah, he's young. He's going to probably strike out and make some mistakes, but at least you feel a little differently when you see him come up.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that. It's so funny. When Jason Worth left town, a guy that they put into the 5-hole each and every night to give protection to Ryan Howard, who was batting behind Chase Utley. I mean, that's when a lineup, when you have that kind of production in the middle, that's when a lineup, does the kinds of things that the lineup did back in 2007, 08, 09. Since Jason left, they really have struggled to try and find that number 5 guy. They had Hunter Pence for a little while, but he was, in the midst of the injuries with Chase and Ryan being asked to play, the 3-hole, the 4-hole, when really he was suited for that 5. And until now, they haven't really had that guy. So, you bring Maikel Franco up here, and he has some success, and he does offer protection to Ryan, and you're seeing the benefits that Ryan is enjoying right now because of it. And you're seeing a guy in Franco that fits very well. The way his game is, it fits very well into the middle of that lineup. Whether it be 3 or 5, I think that's where he belongs in a major league lineup, and the Phillies have needed that guy for a while, and maybe they have him at this point.
Yeah, and that's something that is a lot of fun about watching this team. All of a sudden, there is a young guy that you're saying, all right, let's see what this looks like. And then, obviously, another interesting thing coming up down the road, I guess. I don't know what their plans are with Ashe, but I guess Ben Revere's name is going to be a crowded outfield out there pretty soon, and you wonder how that outfield's going to look, a month or so from now.
Yeah, you do, and I'm sure that the front office guys are working the phones and trying to figure it out, and who's going to fit where and who's going to be where, and they have some time to figure that out. I think Cody's down there working on his left field defense, and I think they want to feel very comfortable that he feels comfortable when they finally do bring him back, and of course you have Don Brown down there as well, who's starting to heat up. So yeah, it appears that maybe some guys are going to have to shake out and shake loose or be moved or whatever. Who those guys may be, your guess is as good as mine. I guess they really could, in theory, move any of those guys if they'd like to. So, we're going to have to wait and see. But I would imagine that it's going to be the odd man out.
Murph, much better atmosphere the last 2 weeks or so. I mean, do you see it? Do you see the guys having a good time?
Absolutely. The flight out to Colorado after the sweep of the Diamondbacks might have been one of the most enjoyable flights that I've been a part of since I've been with the team for 4.5 seasons. Just guys, laughing and getting up and talking to everybody and just enjoying being a part of what was a winning atmosphere for that period of time. And then, the clubhouse and the dugout, there's always a lot of energy in those two places. But I noticed it the most on the airplane flying out. And, hey, you win 4 straight games, you're going to feel good about yourself, and that's kind of the way this gang felt like, and it continued even after the loss yesterday. I think everybody is happy with the way things are going at this particular moment.
Gregg Murphy's with us here, and part of the Phillies broadcast team, the Phillies and the Nationals, and Max Scherzer pitching tonight, one of the best in the game, and I guess when you get a chance to see him up close and personal, that's always something special, and the Phillies have kind of run into him, and being in the same division, they're going to see him probably a couple more times.
Yeah, they are, and I'm not sure it's great to see him if you're in the batter's box, but if you're a baseball fan, certainly it's a lot of fun to watch. And he's simply one of the best in the game, and if he has his A stuff, he's tough to beat, and it's going to be a challenge for these guys tonight. But that said, they have seen him before. They have a game plan of how they want to attack a guy like Max Scherzer, and then it becomes imprudent for the guys to follow that game plan and to kind of take it into the batter's box and do what they have to do, be patient, wait for their pitch. Easier said than done. But, you know, he's simply at the top of his game right now. So the Washington Nationals, every time they roll him out, they feel like they've got a great chance to win, and I'm sure they feel that way tonight against the Phillies.
Yeah, very reminiscent of that Phillies rotation a couple of years ago, you know, the four aces. They
yeah.
roll guys out at you every single night. It will be a tough series down there in Washington as the Phillies continuing this long road trip. And the guys will have, you guys are on NBC 10, correct, tonight?
You know what? That was news to me. It could very well be true. I don't know that off the top of my head. I probably should. But check your local listing to find out. We would either be on Comcast Sportsnet or NBC 10. I'm not exactly sure which one.
I'm pretty sure I did see that the game is on NBC tonight for the
I trust you. I do.
Memorial Day Friday. Gregg Murphy, everybody here on the Sports Bash, the guys, and I am double checking. Yes, NBC 10, 7:05 tonight.
There you go.
4:05 tomorrow. For the Saturday special 4:05, and then 1:35 the normal time on Sunday, and then a Monday 1:10er against the Mets. So you got a 1:10 game on Wednesday. You got a lot of day baseball coming up here, Murph.
We do. That's extra sunblock for me. You know, that's how it works.
Just don't put it on your pitch. Don't put it on your pitching arm. All right.
Yes, you're not allowed to do that. I certainly will remember that. But yeah, you know, it's fun. Memorial Day weekend, as you said, it's you know, it's the beginning of the summer, and baseball is summer. If you ask me, it always has been. So the two go very well together, and you know, division rivals in D.C. and then New York should be a lot of fun.
All right, Gregg Murphy and the guys tonight, again, on NBC 10. And, of course, we thank him for being a part of the Sports Bash. Thanks, Murph.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.